Hello, my name is Alvin Anarjali and I am from group Carlsen. So in this video, my group will present our presentation through this video, which is for UTP KSP1171 chess semester January 2022. So let us move on to the introduction. So what is chess actually? So chess is one of the most popular board games and it is also one of the most oldest games throughout the history of mankind. So chess is played on a checkered board by using specifically designed black and white pieces. So the goal of this game is to actually force our opponent's king to checkmate. So this game has been introduced in India in 6th century after dynasty and then it spread to the Middle East and Europe in the 10th century after dynasty. So in this video, we will cover certain movers, which is the checkmate with 2 rooks, checkmate with 1 rook, and checkmate with 1 queen. So let us move on throughout this video.
Checkmating with 2 rooks is probably the easiest endgame of chess possible, and it is not too far-fetched to say that it might only happen on beginner or amateur level. It is because on Grandmaster level, the losing side often resign way long before they reach the endgame position, with the opponent having 2 rooks, and he has no other pieces than a king or probably few pawns. They resign because at that level, mistakes or blunders rarely happen, and the one at those huge disadvantages know that he does not have sufficient material to turn the game around, force a stalemate or propose a draw. Picture that shows a common checkmate position when it is 2 rooks vs a lone king. The idea in this kind of situation is to drive the opponent king to any edge of the board using both rooks in succession, which is by moving them rank by rank. If there are any pawn of the opponent, it shall be captured first to make sure that the checkmate process happen easily and to remove the threat of promoted pawn. The first move to be made is by putting 1 rook 2 rank away from king, in this example in the square r5, so the king cannot come to any rook 5 square when it is checked by left-sided rook in the next move. Here, when the black is in check by the left-sided rook, it cannot go back towards the white king because the right-sided rook is attacking that rank.
Hi, I'm Jashan and I'll explain the remaining part of checkmate with 2 rooks. So, when mating with 2 rooks, the opposite king will try to capture one of the rooks, as rooks doesn't offer diagonal attack threat. However, this is easy to parry by moving the rook to the other wing, which is the far side from where opposite king is. In addition, it should be noted that you should not put the rooks on the same column to prevent unnecessary number of moves. Furthermore, the threat of mistakenly getting into stalemate is less compared to 2 queen vs lone king or even 1 queen vs lone king.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Irfan bin Ahmad Rizal. I'm from Petrologi Engineering. So let's see how we checkmate with only a queen and a king. In the left side of the board, we can see there's a black king and also the white king and the queen. On the position on the left side, first of all, we have to learn the chess basics where the queen, to checkmate the black king, must be in the position of the knight's move. So in this position, the knight's move for the queen to be is at queen to e5, where queen to e5 limits the position of the black king, where the black king cannot move to any rank or any files. So as we can see, the X mark in the red limits the king from going to any of the spots, and for king to move in the best way is only to king to d7 or also to to b6. An important note to take: if you're playing the white side, it is not always best to check the enemy king. It is often best to instead trap the king and limit its movement. Remember that checkmate is the goal, not simply random checks. So as we can see, the black king moves to d7. From here, we move the queen to f6. The white continues to limit the black king's movement. White's next few moves will continue to follow the same strategy, where the black will attempt to stay away from the edges of the board as long as possible, with moves such as king to c7. The chase also might continue if the queen plays e6. The king might go to b7. So either way around, the black must give up the ground. And from here, we can see that the black king now will have to move either a file or the 6th rank. In either case, white has accomplished a major goal by driving the black king to the edge of the board. For our example, black will play king to c8.
In this slide, place the queen on the second line. As you can see on the picture, once the enemy king has been pushed to an edge, it is important for us to make sure he stays there. So, we can accomplish this by placing our queen on the second line with a 7th rank. The rank of file next to the one on which the enemy king is trapped. In order to see very clearly, in this example, the black king has been forced to the 8th rank. In order to ensure the king stays put, white currently moves his queen to the 7th rank by playing QE7, and the black king is now reduced to shuffling between C8, B8, and E8. Moving on to the next picture, the queen cannot checkmate an enemy queen by herself. Instead, the king and queen must work together in order to finish the game. At this particular point, there's no need for white to move the queen again until he's ready to checkmate the black king. So, he can bring his king closer to the action while black is reduced to moving his king back and forth. And the black piece only can move like KB8, and moving on to the white piece KC4, and the black piece KC8, and the white piece again KC5, which brings us to the position diagram above, as you can see in this picture. So black's only legal move is at KB8. Moving on to the next slide, we must preparing the checkmate. So before we executing the checkmate, the strongest side should move their kings to the 3rd line, which that 2 ranks or files away from the enemy king, as near the enemy king as possible. So when checkmating with a king and queen, having the kings directly opposing each other or separated by knight's move will work. So in the diagram above, white has accomplished this after their move, which is KB6 and KC8. So white now has a checkmate in one move, which you should spot before continuing to the next page. So finally, we can checkmate the black piece, where white wins the game by playing QC7 after putting the queen piece in front of the king piece. So as simple as the endgame may appear, there are a couple of traps you should watch out for the best solution you can get. So 2 stalemate possibilities exist, which can turn a certain win into a draw. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ahmad Haikal, and I will be talking about checkmate with one rook. Checkmate with one rook can be done with the help of the king. The king's job is to prevent the opponent's king from running away to find safety. So as you can see in the picture, this is the position that we are trying to get in order to checkmate with one rook. What we want to do is to give pressure towards the opponent's king towards the edge of the board, so that we can attack it from the side with using our rook, and at the same time use our king to block the opponent's king from escaping by placing it in front of the opponent's king. So the first step is place the opponent's king in a box. To do that, every single time the opponent's king goes up or down, we need to move our rook closer to it. This must be done to reduce the size of the box.
For step 2, guard your opponent king and check. Make sure to put your king in front of your opponent kings. In other words, give the opponent a dead stare, and this must be done to give your opponent a pressure and also for you to dominate the game. This is to prevent the opponent kings from escaping from being checked. Once you give a dead stare towards the opponent, your opponent will keep on moving backwards. While your opponent is doing that, move your rook to the same line as the opponent kings. At the same time, make sure to preserve the dead stare using your king. Repeat the same step using your king and your rook. The opponent kings will eventually get to the edge of the board and checkmate can be done. There is one more concept you must grab in order to mate your opponent with a rook, and that is the waiting move. Usually, a waiting move is used when you don't want to move any of your vital pieces and basically want to hand the turn to your opponent. You do not change the nature of the positions. A waiting move is played when we get a checkmate or a possessive advantage, especially in the minor pieces checkmate. Imagine the following scenario. If you get your king in front of the black king, black can escape easily. So, use your rook instead to perform a waiting move.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sofia Shahril and my ID number is 20448. Now I will conclude everything about my topic. To conclude, checkmating opponents should be the top priority since this will ensure the victory even if players have less material or if have had a worse position throughout the game. There are different patterns to do checkmate, for example, checkmate with one rook, checkmate with one queen, and checkmate with two rook. No matter what is the strategy, they have one goal in common, which is to win the game. Checkmate occurs in chess when player opponent's king is in check, the king cannot move, and nothing can capture the piece delivering the check. Checkmate also means that the game must come to an immediate end despite how many pieces are left on the board. Additionally, some checkmate include sacrifices of strong pieces just to end the game by delivering checkmate. Checkmating patterns are like models that player can use to force a mating sequence on their opponent. They are instrumental in improving their game since they can save a lot of move and help you spot tactical shots. They can also prevent player from wasting their time, which is vital during endgames, and or drawing the game by stalemate. I think that's all from me. Thank you.